Okay, here I just want to go over a few things that show 100% clear proof that this thing yesterday with the Ottawa police, where they set up this ridiculous acting skit, was 100% staged. So you'll hear some noise in the background. Now there's going to be people walking back and forth. I'm going to go through this video and show very clearly how obvious it is here. So if you take a look here, this is when I'm going down the street here. The first car that comes down close to me pulls up past me here. They're supposed that what they had said was supposedly that there's this serious event where this guy had done something, attacked someone or something like that, and then so she's coming down this way, right? And I'm coming up here. You're going to hear noise in the background. The person here is going to make intentional noise, so just disregard that because they know I'm recording this now, so you can hear them kind of walking back and forth out there. They'll probably start slamming doors too. So anyway, so here's the first officer coming here, right? So just take a look. So she's coming very slowly, and then she pulls over by me, and has the brief exchange, right? Where in this situation I asked for her badge number, and she did provide that. But she also said, I have a call. I have to go to a call. Now, supposedly, they want you to believe what they were saying with this lie for this fake event. What that one cop said was that this person had attacked somebody or something like that. Now, if they had that call, that somebody had done something like that, you wouldn't have time to pull over. You would be going directly there because this is a serious incident, right? Yet she has the time to pull over and have this brief talk with me before eventually saying, okay, I have a call. But there's no urgency. You can tell there's no urgency, which would be what you would have if you were really dealing with some type of situation like that, right? So that's point A. Now, there's other points here too, but that's point A. This is the exchange I had. And she did actually provide the badge number, and so she had the time to do this, to stop and briefly talk to me. If she was going to a serious incident, which was what they had said, she would not be able to do that. She wouldn't do that naturally. She would proceed right there, okay? So that's point A. Let's get to point B here. Okay. Fast forward. So when I'm coming along here, okay, so this is just right after, shortly thereafter, right? I'm coming along here. This car is positioned on the other side of the street, facing up this way, right? Just parked there. They parked it there, I think, thinking, predicting that I would cross over to get footage of the vehicle, at least the vehicle number as I pass by, because I'm doing this to obtain evidence for, future complaints I'm going to file. So they knew, they pretty much were fairly sure that I would cross over and try to get that the number of the car at least, if not maybe capture the footage of who was in it. So I did that, and as soon as I start to cross, you'll see that cop comes running out toward the car, and the car is facing this way. So he was already positioned here, and the car was already positioned here. And when he runs to the car, he then turns and goes back this way where that woman was going, towards this supposed whatever, this event that they've already choreographed, pre-planned, and scripted and set up, right? So take a look here. Okay, so as I come across here, now as soon as I cross, he runs out. Literally, look at this. So you can see that there, right? Literally, as soon as I cross the street, he's already positioned there in one of these areas here, right? Possibly in one of these houses. I didn't catch where he came out of, but he had to have been over here. The car is facing this way, right? So supposedly, he's telling, these lying criminal cops are saying that they had to go to this supposedly serious incident where this guy had attacked someone, and he's already positioned waiting there, knowing that I'm coming down here. And as soon as I cross the street right here, he immediately on cue, because this is set up and it's all staged, and it's done like a stage play, right? So it's all choreographed beforehand. They plan these things extensively beforehand, some of them anyway, depending on who the target is for these street theater acting skits. So here he goes to the car, right? And this is literally, as soon as I cross the street, he comes running out from here. And he was just already over there. And now he turns. When I asked for the badge number, he says he can't talk because supposedly he's got to go deal with this very serious emergency, right? So here we go. Now, I tried to get this badge number. So this is all staged. You can see how that was staged to happen precisely as I crossed there. And he was already positioned here. There's slow-mo. He's coming to run to the car as soon as I cross. And now they have to get this done methodically to pull it off right. And they did do that there. So at this point here, he's going to pull off and go back the other way towards this supposed emergency. Okay? Now, the third car, the third officer, let's take a look at that. Okay? Now, let's go forward here. Again, disregard any noise you hear in the background here. They're going to do that intentionally. Okay, so here, oh, sorry, got to go back a bit here. Okay, so I want you to see, it's very important where this person was positioned, okay? So this third car here, so he's facing this way, and he's already over at one of those houses or something. He comes running out of that place to the car right as I cross the street there. Supposedly going to deal with this incident, and then look at where the third car is already positioned. Now that there, okay, so that there, he pulled out from, let me just see here, let me go back. Okay, now right here, okay, I want you to see this. You can see where this car is here. This is pulling out. That's the parking area for a funeral home there. So you can see this car here. This is the third car. This is that other officer who pulled the, what looked like a taser or some sort of weapon and refused to give his badge number later. He was already positioned there in the parking lot of this funeral home, already waiting for me to come down. So as soon as that car made the beeline, coordinating it perfectly with when I arrived there, this guy on cue pulls out of the parking lot where he was already positioned, quickly makes a right and proceeds down to where this supposed incident is happening. And the person who they had there, that person was completely set up there. Now, it is possible that he may have actually been intoxicated or on some type of narcotic, because they do often exploit people who are already under the influence. Because it's easier to pull these things off if it looks like the person is legitimately under the influence. Or it could have been some guy who was just acting. I don't know. I'm not going to claim to know one way or the other. I do know that the event itself was staged and that the guy didn't do anything like what they were saying he did. It was just all set up. And you can clearly see, based upon where these cops are positioned, she first comes down here, and supposedly she has to go to an emergency, right? Let's reiterate. Supposedly she has to go to an emergency, yet she has the time to casually pull over and speak with me. And it's an emergency where someone was supposedly attacking someone or threatening someone with a weapon or something. The second guy, as soon as I cross the street, his car is already positioned there, and he is already located across the street. Obviously, because I was coming down there and they set it up that way. Then the third guy, right after he speeds off down the street, this is all because set up so that I'll see it. They set it up specifically so that the target will see this, right? He's parked in the parking lot of the funeral home, just sitting there waiting. And as soon as that car goes past, that's his cue. I then turn, and they know I'm going to turn because I'm going to be looking to see that other vehicle where it's going. So then he speeds off down there. And I think obviously they wanted to draw me down there to see what was going on, right? So again, he quickly goes off down there. He's already positioned there. There's no possible way you're going to have these people just sitting there randomly, and then suddenly this event occurs and they all pull out right to the same area. He was 100% sitting there waiting for his cue. You can see that without any shadow of a doubt, right? So here he goes now. Now I waved to him, but again, because he wants to claim that he's going to this supposed emergency, he quickly dashes down there. Now they knew, obviously, well, they thought it was a high level of probability that I would proceed down there to see what was going on, and I did, right? So from there he goes down there, and you can see how obvious it is. So let's go over this again. The positioning of all three of these officers shows very clearly that this was unnatural and it was completely staged and set up right for when I came down there. So this is the first cop who I talked to, who had the time to just slow down and have a casual conversation without any urgency, and then she suddenly says, okay, I have to go to a call, yet we're supposed to believe the call is some guy threatening to kill someone or with a weapon or something. That actor or that person who was under the influence, who they did this fake takedown of. And I believe before they do a lot of these things, they'll act it out. So somewhere else, they'll go through it with the person, what they're going to do. And then when they get there, they'll act it out. So it's already, they're ready, right? They've planned it. They know how it's going to go down. They've probably gone through the motions a few times. And they've also set up situations where normally if I was there recording, they would have a bunch of citizen operatives. Another thing that lets you know that it was completely unnatural is that in this situation, which was strange, because normally they would send a lot of operatives over to me if they saw I was recording, but I didn't have my phone out, right? So the people around didn't know that I was recording with the camera glasses. I believe the cops did because they know I record everything. So that being said, when I get down there, you'll notice no one else starts to... Now, there's a few cars that kind of slowed down to look, Those are probably real people who aren't a part of the operation. But the reason no one else came around, now that's a serious situation. So if you're around there, you're probably gonna come out and have a look at what's going on, right? But no one really came to that general area other than the person at that establishment where the guy came out of, which was all pre-planned. So in that situation, it makes it even more obvious that a lot of people around there knew this was going to happen. I believe that shows very clearly, because it's not a natural reaction to have no one come over and when something serious like that is going on, right? A lot of times people will come over with their phones and film something like that. Yet I was the only one within the vicinity, right? Close enough. There were people around there, don't get me wrong, probably a few people who looked, but no one came really near, and that's unnatural, and that also leads us to the clear conclusion that this was all set up, pre-planned, and staged. Okay, so let's fast forward it here. We're going to go down a little ways here. Again, disregard the noise that's going on out there. Okay, so here's where it is here. Now, look, so while this is going on, right, this is going on here. The only people who are really coming around are, I think there was one guy out from this establishment here where it supposedly went down. I think this is like a pub. So clearly, again, a lot of people here within the vicinity, this is not natural. They knew it was going to go down, right? They knew this was going to happen. You can hear out here, this person's just continually sweeping in the same area right outside the door, over and over again, sweeping the same area, because I'm recording this. So yeah, okay, so from here, there's another point I want to show here, okay? So we've established that all of this is pretty much fake, unnatural, scripted and choreographed. They probably practiced it beforehand. And it's all done to send a message to the target while trying to retain some flimsy, ridiculous form of plausible deniability. Can you hear that there? Can you hear that there? Like tapping outside the door. There's somebody like standing outside the door, I don't know, continually tapping something against the wall because I'm recording this. Can you hear that? They've swept that area about for 5 minutes now, the same area. Okay, so here, okay, so once this is completed, now I want to go ahead here a little bit. Let's just jump ahead here a little bit. And once this is completed, okay, so the guy, when they drive away, right, after this ridiculous skit is done, they drive away, and I'm there, and the guy then starts to try to engage in conversation to try and make it seem like it was something legitimate, to try and convince me that it was. Or I think he was only doing that because he knew I was recording and he didn't want to look bad on it. So he starts to, this guy here, who has shown up to stalk me on another occasion as well, at my exact location. So yeah, like they planned all this. This is an actor. Whether this guy, they might have actually got him drunk or put him on some drugs to get him, to make it more realistic. I don't doubt that. But they went through the motions and planned this beforehand, undoubtedly. Okay, so what I want to show now is, it's important with regards to this conversation I have with this gentleman here. Now, okay, so I want you to hear, he starts to engage in conversation, when is it? About here. After I had asked for the badge number, I said he didn't give the badge number, then he gave it. Okay, hold on. Okay, no, hold on. Let me rewind it here. Okay, what he says here, okay. So he gives it there, right? He gives it there. Okay. Now, hold on 1 second here. I want you to hear what he says here. He says, do you want to know why we're here? And I already know why, because it's set up, it's staged, it's choreographed. He's doing this to try and justify it because he knows I'm going to put it online so that he doesn't look ridiculous, right? But I've shown you very clearly this is 100% staged, and it is done as part of the stalking and harassment operation. And it is done to send a message of threatening and intimidation toward the target everywhere they go while trying to cling to plausible deniability. But I'm taking apart the plausible deniability right here by showing this. In this video, okay? So I already know, sir. I already know. Everywhere I go, you show up and set up these little skits. Right, and again, the point I tried to make. Now, first he starts to. This is what they always do. He'll start to engage in conversation casually, acting as if he genuinely wants to have a bit of a conversation. Then, when I start to speak facts about how this has happened to me in 2 different provinces, 3 different cities, and all around, even in secluded areas, he doesn't want to hear it. He turns away because he knows that's true. He knows those are facts, and he can't refute them. And that's why these people rarely engage in one-on-one conversation. If there is any conversation, they'll swarm you, they'll talk over you, they won't allow you to make the points because they know that what I'm saying is the truth, and they know that they're involved in these criminal activities. Okay? Yeah, why we had to arrest him. So he's saying this, he's spewing out this lie just to justify his participation in this event. And he can make up anything he wants. In this situation, you could just say we had a call and literally make up any lie that he wants to, right? And that's what he does here. This is what he's claiming. So I just guessed, speculated. I knew he didn't, but I just said that to see what he would say. Yeah, sure. That's why you were already positioned in the area. So he already said that's why we were in the area. He's already positioned down there. The other guys parked waiting for me behind the funeral home, and they knew the direction I was going to walk up to that specific store, because I had looked it up online beforehand, and they knew where I was going, right? And plus, I had my phone with me. So that's why they set them all up there. If they were dealing with a real emergency, this would not be the way it would be handled. They wouldn't be already positioned there, and that woman would not have had time to just pull over. So now, when I say this to him and I tell him about how this has happened to me in different places, he doesn't want to hear it. So he wants to start a conversation to defend his actions by lying, but then when I bring up the truth, he just wants to walk away and doesn't want to hear it. And that's what they always do, because they know what they're doing is wrong, and they know that they have to continually lie and use deceit to justify these criminal harassment activities. Now, this was important here. This was important, and I wanted to ask him this question because I knew that he would lie about it, and I wanted to see how he would respond. And, of course, what happens is as I start asking the question, he interrupts and doesn't allow me to fully ask the question. He interrupts twice because he knows CSIS is running the operation, and he knows he works alongside them and that they use local police, the fire department, and all these public servants in these operations by slandering people and wrongly declaring them terrorists and using these people to harass and stalk innocent people who have done nothing wrong. So this is important. This is key here. I asked him this knowing that he would be evasive, and sure enough, not only was he evasive, he interrupted twice.
One question. Are you aware of the fact that CSIS Canada is placing people who have committed no crime unjustifiably on watch? Can I finish?
Notice that he says right away, as soon as I say that, he says, I'm not with CSIS. Yeah, but obviously you're a cop and you know about CSIS and you work in coordination with them because CSIS openly says that they work in coordination with police and public servants. That's well known, that's well documented. So he's just trying to evade here.
But on Watchlist, despite having committed no crimes, to be targeted and harassed by the police, the fire department, paramedics, and but you know those.
Yeah, he says, I'm a police officer. Yeah, but you know about, and this is what I said, obviously you know about CSIS and how this operation works. And then he just turns away and wants nothing to do with the conversation. So he does not want to engage in real, truthful conversation. All his purpose of attempting to engage in conversation with me was to try and lie and create some flimsy excuse for why they had set this event up as a form of stalking and harassment and obvious staged scripted street theater. So now he...
You're a law enforcement officer. So you would be aware of that if that were the case.
Right, and he is aware of it, and he's lying. Exactly. And that's it. So that's all you need to look at there. Now, I've gone over the rest of these points here, very clear points that show that this was 100% staged, planned, and it was nothing more than street theater that they use as part of these organized harassment and stalking campaigns. And these people are absolute criminals. They know exactly what they're doing, and they know that they're targeting and stalking people who have done nothing wrong. So that's all there is to it.